business is your business. It's all up in my lady business with me, Mary Nisi. Welcome to All Up in My Lady Business today, folks. It's got Mary and Melissa, the M&M of it all, coming at you. I'm a little crispy today.
I definitely woke up and I was like, I'm hungover, and Matt was like, from fun, and I was like, yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything else.
Yeah. I mean, it was also a lot of social transacting,
Yes, it
which
was.
is also, I've come to realize in my old age is more taxing to me than I thought it would ever was. I think
Yeah,
the
it's like,
alcohol was, back when I was drinking, I think the alcohol was making socializing palatable for me.
sure. But I did have like a bunch of great conversations. I definitely got home though, and I was like, no more words.
Yes. So what we're talking about, folks, is, as you may or may not know, Toast and Jam celebrated its 20th anniversary. On November 10th was our actual 20 years that I have been a business. And we had kind of an epic party last night for back in the day. We started this in 2008. So a couple of years after I started the company, we started this thing called the Vendor Bender, which was a party in November for all the vendors that we get together with to kind of party at our office. And I would raid Trader Joe's, and I would get, sometimes I get a keg and 2 cases of shitty wine, and invite all of our vendor friends. And because when we go to wedding industry events, they're always recreating a wedding. They're always really pretty and over the top and nice. And I kind of always had it as be like, we don't need that for this. We just need to get together and hang out. And we had it for many years. Well, every year that we were in the office on Wabansia after that. And then when we moved from Wicker Park to Logan Square, for some reason that we tried to have one there and it didn't really, the vibe wasn't great. And then we had it one year, we had it at Greenhouse Loft. And then the pandemic happened and we hadn't done it for years. And so we had the idea for the 20th anniversary to bring the Vendor Bender back. So it was a party for vendors, but I also invited, all the old DJs and friends and whatnot. And it was epic.
It was great. And I've been to quite a few wedding things since joining the team, and there was just such a different energy, and just like I feel camaraderie when we go to other events, but there was just something so much more, maybe because it was on our turf, but just really congenial and
Mm-hmm.
warm, and everybody was just so
Yeah, I
nice.
feel we weren't looking at each other. I feel like a lot of the times when I go to wedding industry things, I'm kind of just looking at people's outfits and feeling uncomfortable. But I guess probably because it was on our turf that we were in control of everything,
Sure.
so to speak.
But it was, just I don't know. I think maybe because we talk about this too, and dance floors being, the best dance floors are, when all the bodies are kind of rocking together,
Mm-hmm.
and there's not too much space. And I feel like there was something about being in our office too that just you had to get friendly.
Mm-hmm.
We're, really shoulder to shoulder and scooting by people, and yeah, you kind of were, forced to make friends, as it were. There was no escaping the person next to you in the best way possible. It was the layout was great. Obviously, Joan and friends did such
Yeah.
an incredible job, and also just enjoyed hanging out with their crew all day, which is, a rare treat to just get to sort of, I guess, watch what other people who are awesome at what they do
Mm-hmm.
and do their thing. And
And
they
they're
were
so good at it. They were so
so good.
good.
At one point, at the end of the night, we'd forgotten to put out the macaron, and I was like, "Yes, please, I will take some of these home." And I couldn't get the cellophane, and Teresa just walked over and just did it for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was the kind of thing where I
Looking
was,
for places to help out, to be
yeah,
of service,
and
and
then to
just
have that
doing it.
self-awareness to be okay, this person's trying to do something, I'm just going to do it for them, without
Mm-hmm.
asking or volunteering, or just no words were exchanged. It was just a seamless takeover,
Mm-hmm.
the thing that I
Mm-hmm.
was trying and failing to do, and then her sweeping in and getting the job done. So it was very cool.
Yeah, I had rent I didn't rent. I hired my friend Joan Cinquegrani, who I've been friends with since she started the company. She started her company like 5 years after I started mine, and I keep thinking that we started at the same time, but we didn't. Just because she's just been around me a lot in the years that she started her company. But she's just such a she's I've never hired a planner on that level for something, and it was so good. Like, she kept me, I kept giving her compliments. She's like, "Keep complimenting me." I'm like, you're so good at your job. Like, you should know how good you are." And she's like, "I'm really good at listening to what people say and interpreting what they actually want."
Mhm.
And that is a fucking gift.
It is. It
I
really
think
is.
I
Yeah.
think I do that, but I do it differently. Like, I don't do it in that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, her methodology is and medium is different than yours, but, I think you are similarly gifted in that fashion. Mine's spreadsheets.
Oh, that's not all you got. You got more than spreadsheets, girl.
But yeah, so no, that was super fun to see, and also Stephanie from Stems, and I just I put them in water last night, but I actually just did it nicely before our call and put the flowers on my dining room table, and we grabbed an extra for the sitter last night and gave her some flowers to take home. So spreading love.
Yeah, so when we were planning the party out, I decided instead of doing the Trader Joe's of it all, I actually got real vendors to like help
Mhm.
out, and a lot of people sponsored, like gave me great deals or didn't charge, and it was like magical in that way. But we had Big Delicious Planet that had done some of the catering, and my friend Stephanie Stopka, who owns Flowers by Stem, was also having her 20th anniversary. So we had a bouquet bar where we were giving away bouquets of
So
flowers.
cute. So cute.
There's a company called High Minded Events that do like cannabis dispensing at
My husband was
parties.
very excited about
John told me, he's like, "I don't know if I should have been driving home last night." I'm
it.
like,
Oh,
"Well,
beep, beep.
I mean, we made it, I guess. Let's not do that again." But we got a weed sponsor. Rhythm Cannabis
Mhm.
donated all of the vape cartridges and the weed drinks.
Yeah.
And so we had this weed bar, and then what else did we have? We had
Obviously, we had our live music,
yes,
the tanks. So many people were surprised that they were actually tanks, and I was just like, "Oh, that's right. When did you think we were gonna stop surprising you?" You
yeah.
know?
Yeah, I had T-shirts made,
Yeah.
for the party that I'm actually wearing mine.
Oh, cute.
If we ever do one, I haven't taken it off yet since,
Funny.
last
I like
night,
it. I like it.
but
Yeah.
as you can see, it's a sweet tuxedo,
Super sweet tuxedo.
and, Melissa and I designed it
This
over
Zoom,
Zoom.
essentially. Yeah.
We had a Zoom, and then the back has got all of the sponsors that we designed it in the manner of like the center of a Blue Note vinyl. You can kind of see it. Anyway, this is really bad video. This is really bad podcast to throw so many visuals into it. But
So
I never
imagine a blue note, and instead of all of the notes about the, musicians, the studio musicians, it says the people that we
that helped
uh
us out with the
that
party.
helped us out, that made it all possible and amazing. I definitely feel like a personal highlight was Thundercat by the Bread and Butter Band. Nearly lost my mind, and I really wish there had been more space, or at least a more other people that were as excited about it as me.
So I when I was imagining the party, so we've been this year we added live music to our services, and our live music guy is this guy Quinn Kirshner, who is just
I'm
so good.
constantly figuring out how actually kind of famous he is. Like,
Yeah,
it's weird. Like, uh, I didn't know of him, of course, until he started um, filling, this role at the company, and then every time I'm with him, I'm like, oh, 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 really?
well,
It's
and like the bass
interesting.
player that was playing, so I had him assemble this band. I was like, I have this. I feel like whenever we get like music for weddings, it's great. Like we get like a lot of trios, like string quartets and jazz trios. But like I feel like I want to hear like cooler covers. Like I feel like I basically I wanted like a yacht rock kind of 70s AM gold, just good vibes, funky songs to kind of play
Definitely.
in the background.
Yes.
And this is like, I kind of want to start promoting this band, but I didn't know how to promote it without. And I'm like, well, let me just throw it at the party. And
Sure.
if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But like, if it does work, it could be amazing. And
Guess what, folks?
they were so good.
So good.
My sister and someone else she was talking to, like, this is the band I want to play my funeral. Was it
It was
you?
me. Hi, it was me. We're like, you're already booked. Just know you'll find out the date at some later time, but you'll need to be there because
they,
this
I
is how I want
mean,
to go out.
what I loved is that they just played songs into each other,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it was like it was like they were playing it was like DJing. It was like the songs were going into each other and they kind of just all worked together. The bass player is this guy, Matt Ulery, who we have like 80 million of his records like in rotation at Chirp. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I I think I aimed it a
Yeah.
little high with this band, but everybody was losing their mind at how good the band was.
It was really, truly so spectacular. And Cole, who's doing the singing and the keyboards, like just like being able to do those like high falsettos and
Mhm.
like it was what they did like a Michael McDonald song,
Yeah.
right? Like,
They
uh,
did What a Fool Believes, but it's a Doobie Brothers song, but
oh,
It's Michael McDonald on the vocals, but yes, go on.
got it. So yeah, and just being able to like do that in a way that it didn't feel like kind of
Like an impersonation.
right. It was still had like that soul, but it was clearly his voice, but then also had that, reminiscent, the echoes of the
Mhm.
original that made it, feel like if I closed my eyes.
Yeah.
And also just the proximity, like just being able to be so close to them and like actually see I took a lot of video of Cole like playing,
Mhm.
like just watching on that cool keyboard that he had. And like, you just don't get that kind of proximity,
Mhm.
to people who are this good at what they do.
And
And
they're
that was
so
really fun.
good. Like, these
Yeah.
guys are like hired guns that like do a lot of really cool stuff. So
Yeah.
I feel incredible that they came and they slayed, and then we went right into the DJs after them, and we had a sax player
The
that
sax
was
man.
playing
Do
along
you
with the
know, I
DJ.
never got his name. Do you know which sax player of our
I don't.
sax
I
rotation
things
was?
just happened to me
I
last
gotta
night.
find that out because I was like, when I picture this is what it is. Like Matt was telling me too that he was like sharking,
Mhm.
through the audience and or the crowd. And there was some people from BDP like sort of back in the beverage kitchen area.
Mhm.
And then he was just going back there and like honking his sax at them. Like just like, you're not up front, like, so you're not getting out of this.
Yeah.
Like
Everybody's getting a little sax in the face.
everyone's getting some saxing tonight. And they were laughing and it was funny that he was just so engaging. And in this like same way I feel like our DJs are, where it's like you're included, you're involved, but just in this way that's not, like standard. I'm
Mhm.
yelling at you to get on a dance floor. It's like, try to resist getting on my dance floor. I dare you. And
Mhm.
that's kind of like what, the sax was like. You think you're not into this, but I'm going to prove to you
Yeah. And
by the time I get out of here that you will want sax in your life.
it was also great. We had Rika in the photo booth
Rika
doing
in
the
the
photo
booth
booth, and she's just a charmer and a half.
is
I mean, I was able to see
delightful.
like the full, like how great the DJs were. Frederick dancing his little
Oh my
ass
gosh.
off. And
Yes.
I mean, I feel like is this lame podcasting to talk about a party that they weren't at and just be like, I throw good
Oh, you missed
parties.
it.
But I will say though that like, the planning of this party, like it was incredible to have Joan because she made everything went perfectly and
Yeah,
flawlessly.
totally.
But through the planning process, I got really nervous.
Mhm.
Like I tried to cancel the party in March. We started planning in January, and like we were going to do it at a venue. Initially, we were going to try to have it at Sleeping Village, which is like a rock club in Avondale here in
Yes, thank
Chicago.
you to them for being willing to host us.
Yeah, it was I really wanted to do it there, but in March when like the fascism was coming on so like thick, I was like, when Elon Musk and Doge were like closing everything, doesn't that feel like that was 14 years ago?
This year, the last 16, like, I guess 12. How many years has it been? See, I don't even remember. No, it's 12 because my kid is 12.
Yeah.
Anyway, too long. But it definitely feels like this year was both. It's like the longest, shortest time. Like
Mhm.
it feels like a million years ago and
Yeah.
also like I blinked and the year was over. So
Yeah. So when Doge was doing all of its shit in, February and March, just like dismantling the Department of Education and, all of the
let's go
resources.
party.
Not only that, but I was also like, these things are going to start like coming, to fruition come like Q3. And I was like, I'm like, I have a feeling that like September, I think things are going to fall apart. And I don't want to like, if, the worlds fall apart, I don't want to like lose a deposit on on this venue. And I don't want to like also have a party and make it seem like I'm fiddling while Rome burns. If things are going poorly. Joan was like, Mary, even if that happens, we're still going to need joy and happy things in the world and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, you're right. I will say, though, that I was right, that the world is fucking collapsing and that, you know,
Yes, but that
we,
one is also right that we also still need joy.
yeah.
And this milestone was not something that would have been
But it also just, the party
possible.
itself kind of rassled up so many like weird feelings inside of me,
Mhm.
like like looking back at everything, and kind of
Oh, yeah.
all the DJs that worked here. Like there's so many people who have worked for me over the years. So I was going through like old contracts and old, numbers of like what, all the DJs have worked for me and like, just how COVID kind of just stopped everything and like people kind of disappeared out of my life and I disappeared out of theirs. And like there's a lot of people I didn't get any kind of weird, like any weird, like any closure or even like even acknowledgement that like that our relationship as me as their boss or whatever. It was weird and it brought up bad management decisions that I made over the years or things that I didn't handle as great as I could. um and I take all the blame for these things, like I kind of absorb it all and just sort of
Yes,
assume that
you
I'm the
do carry it heavily on your shoulders, and my constant refrain to you is always anybody that knows you knows that you're making the best decisions you can with the information, that you have at the time, and you're always trying to make the best decision for the longevity of the business and for, the people that work there, because if the business doesn't succeed, there is no place for those people to work.
Mhm.
So, you really you have the burden of thinking about the big picture and, people aren't that don't have that perspective aren't always the greatest at seeing how they don't fit into the big picture sometimes. So,
Well, but
you
also it's like, I think to myself, like, well, I own the business. I'm the boss. Like, I, in theory, make my money off of them. I don't want to complain to them. I don't want to like tell them how bad it is. I don't want to like, cause like,
yeah.
like they're not paying me to complain to them.
No.
And
No.
so I think that kind of,
It's lonely at the top.
yeah, it's lonely at the time. It truly is. And I do think that women get it a little differently than men do.
I agree.
Um, and
I don't think that I've been in, like, I guess in my own experience, had felt that quite as strongly, because the interior design world, of course, is very female dominated. And so I think there's just a real expectation that, it's dominantly white blonde ladies. So, that's kind of the expectation there. Where here and, with DJing in general, and also just successful female entrepreneurs, everybody kind of has a different lens that they're looking through that isn't always super nice or helpful or productive.
there's also there's weird competition and people pitting people against each other and like, and I don't deal well with that. I'd rather like have friend doors and like I don't know, just there's always gonna be
Last
enough work to
night,
go around.
yeah, you could tell last night for sure. Like I definitely had that feeling, and I could tell that these were people that sort of, I guess, made it through your filter in a lot of ways because they were all
The good ones.
the good ones. Sure, there were
There
lots,
were some good ones
lots
that
of,
were missing.
but
I'm
no,
not gonna
100%. Not everyone could make it that
wanted
we would
to.
have loved to have there. But, just talking to like Scott from Cage and, who's always just such a delightful person. And, Jana, who's not as direct, selling the same service, but just like, so supportive. And then your friend, Kate, who's just like the light of
Kate. Which
Katie.
Kate? Oh,
Katie.
Katie Tomaszewski. Yeah, Katie
Yeah.
Tomaszewski. Big. She's been on this podcast a couple times.
Yes, she is Like we were just like sort of savoring the Team Mary of it all, just like this great little, network of people that know you so well and are able to, just kind of, I guess, be there for you through the heavier times, since you can't have like a peer to peer, somebody sharing the troubles and stuff, because you can't filter that down to the DJs, but you have this amazing network of powerful ladies with great perspective and intention. It's nice to see that around you. So
Thank you. I mean, I do. And the thing is that like I do have amazing people in my life, and I think it's great that I was able to invite my quote unquote competitors, like
yeah.
Scott and Tyler from Cajun Aquarium and Daniel from Lunix. Like
Oh gosh,
having, like
loving the bread and butter band
yeah.
for
The
sure. He was
bread
fun.
and butter band was so good. I can't even. Am I just gonna become like a band leader now at this point? But it's just that I can have my competitors there in my office, and I'm not worried about them stealing my secrets. There was a point, earlier on in the day, I got my hair and makeup done for the party. And the makeup artist was like, "What are you looking forward to most about tonight?" And it's like, I mean, ICE was roving in Logan Square up until, 3 days ago. I mean, I was having like a lot of anxiety. I mean, this was like planning another wedding. It was bringing up all these weird emotions and, making me second guess, like, am I any good at this? There's just the dumb imposter syndrome that really kind of plagues me.
Yeah.
And probably every other woman. And that's just, I'm not going to push my shit on other people. I have this problem with imposter syndrome. And once I gave my speech, I could then start doing stuff. And
Yeah.
I hit the vape bar pretty hard. And then
And the
I
tamales.
and that was the other surprise we didn't talk about.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I hired Claudio, the tamales guy that come well when I was younger and I went to bars, he would show up at the bar at like, midnight, like
A
fucking
perfect
Santa
time.
Claus, and you're drunk. And I have eaten more of his tamales than I've forgotten than I have eaten. I mean, so many tamales, and I've wanted to hire him for a party for years. But like I've never had the right part. I tried to get him for our wedding, but he wasn't available like for our wedding. That was 14 years ago.
Yeah.
But especially after the pandemic, I kept trying to like get him into like Whippa. When I was doing the events for Whippa, I was like, we should get that tamale guy. And everyone's like, I don't think so, Mary. And so being able to hire Claudio, the tamales guy, to come in, like tamales, like giving them out to everybody and what's funny is I had to order. I think I had to buy. They do it on per person, and I think I bought 750 tamales,
Wow.
and I'm like, I'm going to be eating because that was their minimum order,
Yeah.
or it was a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't so. It was a ton. It was well over. It was like 300 tamales I had to buy at least. Um, and I'm like, I'm going to be eating tamales for the rest of my life. They went immediately.
Yeah.
Like they were gone.
Yes.
And when Claudio finally got to me, his son was like being his little wingman.
It was so great. Like literally, like his arm was out with bags of tamales,
Yeah.
like like
And I'm like, yeah,
wings of tamales.
exactly. They're like are opening up a trench coat, and he's got like, what can I interest you in? Uh,
And cheese.
Salsa verde, salsa red, roja.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hi, this is my party. Like, I'm the person that hired you." And they're like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "Thank you so much, especially right now. Like, things are really
Really?
scary. We've lost a lot of income, so we're really grateful that you
Oh,
hired us for this party. So anybody, if you guys are looking for a fucking,
yes.
everyone is excited. The people who knew who he was were looking at me like I was a fucking genius. They were like, "You got the tamale guy to come to this party," and I'm like, "Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Also, come
paid."
on. We've been in business for 20 years in Logan Square. Yeah, we got the tamale guy.
It makes sense that I got Claudio the tamale guy. But they were very like, especially like right now, like we're really, so if you
Yeah.
guys everyone was psyched. And I had some for breakfast today. I was able to steal one bag. I got one bag of tamales.
Yeah.
And so I had them for breakfast today, and it was like tasting my youth.
Yes, I love it. I had never had one before, even though I'd been in the room with Claudio many times. I was saying to someone else at the party last night that I was too scared to tamale, and that basically was my whole personality. That I am too scared to tamale, and just I don't know, something about like I just never. First of all, I was like tamale, like I didn't have like that wasn't
Is
something
there
that I
gluten at tamale?
no gluten in tamales.
Okay.
Blissfully, but Matt got them last night, and I had a tamale, and it was dynamite. And
Hmm.
now, I'm regretting all of my decisions. The
Yeah.
times,
I
the
will
past time
say though,
I had a tamale and I didn't do it.
we're hiring Claudio for every party we're ever having for the rest of
That's
all
right. So
time.
don't miss it next time, people.
But anyway, after I finally did my speech, I got really high.
On a
I
crate in Mary
Yeah,
Jane's
I
was,
stood on my crate and I broke the crate.
but it was cute. Like
um,
it was a
I
it was a highlight of the speech was your like grace in
yeah,
handling the fact that the crate was cracking underneath
yeah,
you while you're
yeah.
trying to stay composed and deliver this really emotional and sincere message.
But when I
She's
was getting my
multifaceted, people. She's multifaceted.
Yeah, or no, really, it's less than multifaceted and more that like I came here to do this thing, and even if I destroy this crate, I'm going to like the show must go on. I'm going to finish this toast, and I'm not going to let this part of it like. I mean, that's really it's my improv training that coached me through that moment.
Definitely.
But I when I was getting my hair done, and the one asked me like what I'm most excited for the party. And I was like, I just want it to be over. Like I just at this point I just want it to be done. I had been freaking out about it for so long and I just wanted it to be over. Like I really didn't think I was going to have fun. I thought I was going to just be a nervous ball of shit the whole night.
Mhm.
And then after the speech was over and I was standing outside and I was eating Jana gave me some of her tamales. So I was eating Jana's tamales. Jana Kinsman from Doodle Booth and Bike a Bee. Jana is my beekeeping mentor. She's also been on this podcast before. And then she also does these hand-drawn, it was almost like a hand-drawn photo booth and things that she does at weddings as well. So she crosses into so many of my worlds. But I had a moment where I was like, oh my God, I have everything I've ever wanted. Like it was like all I do is focus on what I don't have. And I have like everything I wanted. I'm like I have an amazing career that has lasted 20 years, which is a feat that only 20% of businesses even get to. I am in a really fun industry that is filled with really creative and fun, amazing people that all respect what I bring to the table. I have really amazing employees that believe in the mission that we are putting out there. I have a job technically in the music industry, which was the only thing I ever wanted. It was like the only thing that I thought I could do. I have I finally have like a person that like is like absolutely like understands my vision and like can help me actually do the things I want to do. I've got a great husband who also gave a cute little speech
Such a
before I
wonderful speech. What a sweetheart. I loved it.
and my little boy and I don't know, it just was like this moment of clarity where
Mhm.
I was like, wow, I've I've like kind of made it and I've had like like glimmers of that like like I live in a beautiful house in a great neighborhood in a great town. I love living in Evanston. I've got some really good friends that I've made since I've been up here. And I've been like, ugh, and I can't even enjoy how I have the things I want because of the fascism. Like I've really let that bum me out. And I mean, I don't think I can ring that bell until the fascism is over or I move to Panama. But I don't know. I think I need to be grateful for what I got. And I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. It's like my brother has started a business, and he oftentimes, he just started his like 5 years ago, maybe at most, maybe not even that long. And, and he like, whenever I'm complaining about work, he's always like, "But you have everything." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Mm,
Chris, guess what? When you have, like, success and stuff, it actually doesn't fill the hole. It actually like, you just kinda keep wanting more." And I was kinda saying that in a, like, isn't that a universal thing that we all just kind of, like, we're never satisfied? Like, and then I'm like, "Oh, wait, maybe I'm just a Schuyler sister." Wait, have you seen Hamilton?
no.
Oh. My Hamill heads out there will know what I'm talking about, but there's a song in Hamilton where like the oldest Schuyler sister is talking about how she'll never be satisfied. She's always kind of looking for more, and I think that there's something to be said for that. To like always be trying to innovate and change and still be doing, not just wallowing in the thing you're good at, but also, then you get afraid of it disappearing. I think that might be the real like motherfucker of success is that once you have it, you're perpetually fearing that it's going to go away, even though all signs point to, you
But
know,
that's just the human condition. I think there are a lot of people, entrepreneurs or not, it's just kind of based on your values, right? Like I don't have my own business, but I have like the world's best husband and a cool kid and stuff like that. And it's like even that measure of, that's this I feel so grateful for those things. And so I feel like my burden is I can't complain about anything else because I totally nailed that, aspect of my life. Like I can't, I'm
you
not,
you get one thing,
yeah.
one thing that's good, and then like everything
And
else,
yeah,
you have
it's
to
just
take the table
supposed to be
scraps.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I think that that's totally fair, but I think it's what you do with it, right? Like you show gratitude for what you do have and recognize that literally no day is guaranteed to us and we just
Hmm.
live, the best that we can. And I think when it comes to like, toast and jam and longevity and like all of that stuff, like because the spirit of this business, the core of it is really just reflecting people back to themselves on their dance floors. Like, there isn't a gimmick to this. There isn't something that's ever going to age as long as we have, sincere, dedicated talent and DJs and people that can do that for their couples, then Toast and Jam will continue to
Hmm.
rage on, And that's what makes me so excited about, the people that have joined recently and their just energy, right? Like when you have
Hmm.
that sort of fresh enthusiasm and just, we really feel like you get it. And yeah, Frederick Rico, he's like such a delight. So much fun like talking to him last night and he always compliments my outfits or fits as the kids say. And my daughter told me I looked like a flight attendant the other day, and I was like, "Rika would like this outfit." So,
It's
but
not for you,
it's
Evelyn.
not
It's not
for
for
you.
you.
Yeah. But just just loving seeing that there is, I guess it's kind of my first time being around when we've hired additional people and just seeing like there is no limit. To this, there continue to be people who get this and want this, and
Would you say that the limit does not exist?
to yeah the people that I think can get it and recognize it what we're trying to genuinely achieve for the
Have
people that
you have you
hire
seen
us.
Mean Girls?
No,
Okay, I'm 0 for 2 on this point with dumb
sorry.
references.
Yeah, if it's
Um,
not a baking show
yeah,
or yeah some type of competition talent based program, then like yeah, no. Have
okay.
you seen the recent season of Ink Master? No,
Uh,
probably
is that a tattoo show?
not. Yes, it is.
No, I reality has never been my bag. Like I will tell you, like I feel like Love It or Leave It, which is it couth to talk about other podcasts when you're on a podcast.
It
But
definitely
Love It or Leave It is Melissa and I have a shared love of John Lovett and Love It or Leave
do.
It, the podcast that I've seen live 4 or 5 times. I love that podcast. It's
Hmm.
been kind of a bummer lately, but I guess the news is kind of a bummer. But John Lovett started a whole second podcast about like a Bravo
Yeah,
related, like he
Bravo's
interviews
not
Bravo
my
people.
flavor of reality.
My friend Shaska, who's also been on this podcast, is in Vegas right now at BravoCon.
Wow. Well, I learned 2 things. One, there are people that do that, and there's BravoCon.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's just like Vanderpump Rules people and Summer House Santa Monica, like doing selfies. I don't know. Is Summer House Santa Monica an actual show or is that a restaurant? Anyway, my point is that yes, going back to the limit not existing.
Yes.
I think I'm realizing that more and more that we have more control over our fates than we, with the business and whatnot. Just,
Mhm.
like adding the live music was, kind of a big step. And then, the putting together the bread and butter band where I was like, I just want you to play cool vibes. It just, and like, I'm like, oh, wow, I've got a band playing my favorite type of music. I'm got like, all these amazing people. I don't know. It just last night was
It was
was
great.
good.
It was great, and I loved that, like, it was was just kind of doing day-to-day stuff, all right up, until, and then it was just like this, awesome thing that everybody came together to pull off. Rennie running circles around us, getting the office lit up and looking spectacular, and the photo booth and all that stuff. So anyway, it just was definitely felt like we've been through a lot of various pain points over the past couple of years to try to get through to where we want to be. Last night felt very much like a culmination of the proof of concept that we
Mhm.
can have the version of the company that you envision, and that we still have, areas to improve and room to grow. Ability to do that seems very realistic, just given the energy that I feel like we have flowing through the team right now. So that's very exciting to me, and excites me because I talk to a lot of people who hire us, and
Mhm.
just having that, excitement on their behalf for the experience that they're going to have feels really, just makes my job so much easier.
Mhm. Yeah, and, and even just having all the vendors there last night was also
Yes.
very, like,
Yes.
like, seeing, like, "Oh, we have a real thing. We have an office, and we've got"
Yeah, it was really like the office's coming out party last night
Yeah,
too, like, just,
yeah.
you know, because you don't really see much from those front doors, so
But I also think that, like, this job is in theory a very social job because you're DJing weddings, but you also it's a very lonely job because you do all of it by yourself, and then you go and do it and you're just behind a table the whole time, which is I kind of my preferred place at parties is actually behind the table. I would always rather be working a party than attending it. I actually danced last night, which I never do. I never go dancing, and I also am very embarrassed. I'm very self-conscious about my dancing, and, I know it's dumb. I mean, I dance behind the table, but I very rarely find myself in a dancing where I'm actually dancing,
yeah.
so that was cool to be a
Dancing
part of
might be
that.
the only time I'm not self-conscious. Where it's just like, I can't help how that this I'm compelled, to move, like, I'm not gonna try to stop it.
Yeah. No,
Deal with
it
it, basically, everybody. Multiple times, I was the only one, like, in front of the DJ dancing like a dork, and, it's like,
oh, they were
whatever.
doing such a great job.
They and Katie to me at one point so that I didn't feel so lonely, but
I mean, like, so I guess, like, what is like, to anybody who's bored out of their mind listening to us talk
yeah,
about a
sorry.
party,
Sorry, not sorry.
uh I mean, not sorry at all. I just wanna make sure that I'm not just, humble bragging about how great my party was. But I do think that, you know, like, it was kind of the culmination of 20 years,
Mhm,
like, I had people that, helped me out. Joan did such a great job. I got to talk about why I do this and I think that I think it's part of the reason why I love doing the on-air pledge drives,
mhm.
for the radio station is because, like when I'm on air and I'm doing like pitching and getting people and people come and they like I ask people on the microphone to give money and then they do. And then I get an email that says like Wendy in, Palmer Square donated $25 or whatever. And it's like seeing people do, kind of remind you on why you do it, because in many ways this is a very thankless job all too well, how running a company and dealing with employees
Yeah.
and things like that. And so being able to like get and actually see the fruits of your labor is really rewarding. And especially when you work in the party world, like get and have a good party.
It was truly terrific. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Matt and I both popped the Advil before we went to bed last night because we knew our bones would be extra rickety this morning. Yeah, I was gonna like like look at the questions again, and of course that was a dumb thing to have to try to put on myself this past week. But the thing you're most proud of about the business you've built, would that feel like a nice way to tie up this week's episode, or do we just make this one about the party? Haha.
What I'm most proud of.
About the business, that you've built.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do think that I think the thing I'm most proud of with this business is, for the first 3 years or first 2 years, it was only women that worked for me, and then I let one guy in, Dustin, who was great. He was the sole guy for 8 years, and then I added another guy, Daniel, and so then they were the only 2 guys for another 3 years. And then in like 2018, it looks like I started adding like Chris and Tim, and there just other guys kind of came in, Anthony. And but it's always been mostly women. And with very few exceptions, most of the women that came to work for me had never DJ'd a dance party, much less a wedding. Like, they had, like, little I mean, they had to have some interest in music. It wasn't like, it was just somebody that I picked off the street, but it was like, people that and they were a lot of times when I would be like, "Hey, you should come work for me." Like, "I can't do that. I can't do that." And then they wound up being, like, the greatest DJ I've ever had. It's like, it's more because I mean, I feel like in many ways, like, the personality of the person is like, if they seem like they're hardworking, the kind of people that can anticipate need, that can come over and open the plastic thing while you're struggling with it, um, you know, the people that are there in service of the day and just want to, like, make it go amazingly and, like, just, like, like, relish a job well done, that is more important to me than, having sick DJ skills. Sick DJ skills can be trained, but the soft skills of service and, just getting it, that's hard to find, and so, I don't even know the number of it, but it's dozens of women that I brought into this job, and I've trained them and taught them how to do this and given them access to this weird world, and that is something that I that's probably the thing because even if they didn't DJ ever again after they left my company, which most of them don't, I'm sure the skills that they have learned have passed on to whatever it is they're doing now. I got to thank Sean Campbell, who has also been on this podcast. Sean Campbell, I got to thank her. She was supposed to come to the party, she didn't, but I did give her a very special shout out because she made this community radio station. Well, she didn't make the station, but she was running the station that I was working at, where that was the first place that I ever volunteered, and it was, because she created a space where anybody could come in, but that seeing other women doing it helped me feel like that was something I could do. And then I got the skills to, be able to understand how to go between the songs and do good crossfades and keep it, thematically working and then changing it. So you have to change the vibe constantly. So, I mean, I learned so many skills that I use all the time, and I don't know, you realize that you're just the culmination of every experience that's happened to you. And if you're open to things, if you are like, I think, like, I'm always thinking, people are like, the weirdest things always happen to you. And the weirdest things always do happen to me. But I think the weirdest things are happening to everybody all the time. I just think some people are just not as good at seeing it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just willing to look and I'm out, when I see something weird, I'm like, oh, what's that? Like, that's interesting. That's different from what's happening here.
Definitely. I definitely think that that is true about you. And even to the degree that we are here because a person asked you if you were up for something and you said yes,
Mm-hmm.
like there's a lot of people that would not have said yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so it's your, open mindedness, your curiosity, your, eagerness to understand and
Well, and
see can Mary do this? That whole thing. Can I host a dance party for women of a certain age and find venues that would want that to have happen and then also do that? It's like this yeah, you have a particular drive to kind of keep finding the edges of what, you can succeed at. And I think that's super cool. And of course, that I think is a primary factor in why you end up having so many interesting things happen to you. They sort of feed into each other. So, but yeah, I mean, it all starts with your, kind of openness to trying things out and seeing what happens.
Yeah, I actually today I got a text message from a mom in the neighborhood she actually was the one who texted me in the first place through another friend of mine to see if I would do these women dance parties, and she had sent over the link about the early birds, which was the thing I had seen about it. And so, I mean, that's, kind of how it all started. So it's like, I don't know, I think I get mired in the muck a lot, and we should be having more parties is
We
basically
should
the
definitely have more parties. Like if I came away from I often say to couples, like, this is a really important part of your entire experience because when do you get to hire a DJ again in your life? Like it's really not something that comes up that often. And at that, when, can you hire a really freaking awesome one? So the fact that we have access to all of these incredibly talented people that, could be coming in and sharing that. I mean, definitely think that we should have a more regular just DJ showcase. I think there's always, I was talking to Scott about this last night, that kind of like, you don't want to, it's tricky. Actually, I feel like I stumbled on kind of an interesting analogy in talking to him about um, interior design and how like if you you're really good at Photoshop and you can really make this incredible rendering and like show somebody basically exactly what, their space is going to look like. At the end of the day, you are putting handcuffs on yourself because things will come up that will require you to deviate from that. And then ultimately not, like if it doesn't match what you said you were going to do, then, you're creating either disappointment in your client because they don't like what you ended up doing as well as what you said you were going to, or, you just have an opportunity to do something better and you've had to, sort of stick to the plan because that's what your client committed to. And so, kind of keep
And
open
most
at
people
it.
don't sorry, and most people don't have the imagination to even see that the thing you did go outside the lines on was actually better. It just didn't look like the thing they thought it was going to
Yeah.
be, so they can't even accept. So, I mean, it's kind of like people are like, "Can I just give you a playlist and you just go in this order?" And it's like, "No."
Yeah.
I
That
I
was my breakthrough, with that analogy where I was kinda like, "No, this totally is the same." Like, and you don't wanna do that to your DJ either, and that's, I think, what has always been our hesitation about having, like, videos or playlists of not playlists, but, demos of DJs mixing and stuff like that is because it is like giving your client a rendering, and it's like, your event might not be this actually, but by sort of putting those constraints on it might not be as awesome as it could be.
it's the
And that's
surprise
the
and
thing about
delight.
the DJ showcase that I'm always like, I don't want people to come and be
And oh, they're gonna play Can at my wedding, and it's like, because I mean, I would feel like at the like if I was doing it, if I was doing a set, if I'm doing a set as a showcase, I
Mhm.
want to play what I want to play.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily want to. Not that I don't want to play Dua Lipa, but like, if I'm playing what I want to
right.
play, I mean, it's
Yeah.
what I play on my radio show plus Taylor Swift, which I won't play at my radio show. I mean, I have occasionally, but not as much as I probably could. Anyway, I show restraint, but I think that it also you lose the surprise and delight. I think is an element that is the spice of life in many ways, but it's also like when if the client's like, you can only play these songs, you're not giving us the ability to like blow your mind with something because everything's anticipated. You're not willing to, like be, like amazed that you came up with this other idea. Like when they gave you all of their ideas and you're like, wow, like I think they don't realize this, but they probably really like this type of music. And like, and what's great about having the flexibility is you can like throw one in during dinner and then see if anyone's heads perk up. And if you see some heads perk up, you're like, okay, I now have that genre in my toolbox now. And it's like, and I think this is also part of like what I feel we do at Toast and Jam is like seeing how every single part of the night feeds into the other one. So like the DJs aren't just like ticking their, looking at their watch and waiting for it to be dance time. Like every single part is as important as every other part. So then if any of that goes south, like that fucks up the dance set. So, that's why we care about ceremony and care about cocktail music and care about dinner music and care about how we're structuring the toast into the cake cutting into this because we want to keep everything going on a good trajectory so that when you finally get to the dance set, everyone's in a good mood because nothing got off schedule. And, everything feels well timed. No one's like sitting around wondering. Like I hate it when like the kitchen's running slow and you can tell that the energy in the room is just like, what's happening next? We've been sitting here for too long. And it's like, but you haven't gotten your entrees yet. Or like the whole room hasn't gotten their entrees yet or whatever. And it's like, you can't start dancing until the food's over. And no one understands that. So it's like, if I can affect the food coming out any faster, I will, because that's just going to make my dance set go better. Being a team player and
Yeah.
all of that.
But yeah, so I think we should have more parties for sure. And we'll just have to tell people, when they come in, like, this is a no judgment zone. These people can do anything, but enjoy what they're going to do for you this night. Have
I
some.
mean, it could be for it could be for like a client showcase, but it could also just be, like a networking party that's not even wedding related. And we've got DJs DJing the networking party and,
Absolutely.
get the bread and butter band to come on
I'm
in
ready
and,
for that reunion already.
oh my God, they were so good. They were so good.
Really great. All right. Have we done it?
We did it
Another episode.
in the can. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for coming on today and, bringing your beanie into my screen. Everybody out there, thanks so much for tuning in and listening. I'm going to say some things I hear on other podcasts. You should be liking and subscribing. smash that subscribe button. If you like to write reviews, apparently reviews are also very great. And so you can write those on your 5-star reviews on places. And come back next week for more deep dives into my lady business.
That's what it's all about, Mary. It's really why we're here.
Dives into my business.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to All Up in My Lady Business with me, Mary Nisi. We'd love for you to like, review, subscribe, follow us at All Up in My Lady Business on the gram. And if you're a female identifying person and you want to dance, you can follow. I mean, everybody can follow it. But if you want to be a part of the magic at Hot Flash Dance Party, sign up for the mailing list to find out where our next party is going to be. And if you are looking for a DJ in the Chicagoland area or anywhere else, money's the same color everywhere. Fly us out. ToastandJamDJs.com has the best. And listen to my radio show. I have a radio show on Chirp Radio at chirpradio.org. And that's Mondays, every Monday from 12 until 3 p.m. CST. Today's episode is produced by Shiraz Dada. Theme song composed and performed by, you guessed it, Shiraz Dada. All right, guys. Peace out.